When I first got wounded, sometime on the helicopter flight, I had a conversation with God. Basically, just asked Him if I could live and return to my daughter and my wife.
He was a smart kid, very smart. He always had really good grades in school. He liked to play Army and stuff like that. So I could see him joining the military because of, the way he used to play when he was little.
If my daughter asks about me joining up in the Marine Corps, I'll tell her I did it because I wanted to serve my country. I wanted to serve something greater than myself.
I worked at a Harley-Davidson shop parked right outside of the base.
I saw this beautiful woman walking out of a Harley dealership with tight leather pants on and high heels.
It was a rule you never dated Marines. Your daddy told you, your friends told you, everybody told you. It was not something that you did.
I spent 2 hours in the store, and she was trying to sell me these really expensive riding glasses. About lunchtime the next day, I called her up at the store and asked her if she wanted to go to dinner. And she was sort of like, "What took you so long?"
We went out to dinner, and we were just talking. Then we went for a bike ride. Oh, I liked him a lot. I think it was the third day he was leaving to go, third day that we'd been known each other. And he was leaving to go to work, and he told me he loved me. And I said, "No, you don't." And he said, "Okay," and he left.
We started dating, and that was back in late March of 2004. And then we were married by the 2nd of January 2005.
He'd talked about it a lot before I even got pregnant, about just wanting to have a kid and whatnot. And he was so excited, and he started buying little things every time he came home. So, of course, he thought it was a boy, and they were all blue. But he loves to go with him and do things with him, and he's a really good dad. He was always hands-on. Most people fight about who has to change the baby. We fought about who got to change the baby.
The mission that day was simply to get to the dam. We were going to stay the night and receive orders of what to do the following day. As soon as I hit the dirt, I hit a pressure plate mine, and immediately just, super loud explosion, ringing in my ears. So I look down, and there's 2 huge gaping holes in my camis, and pretty sure I saw blood, and I know I saw cauterized. The camis are all black around the knee. Pretty sure I saw bone, sticking out of the right leg at least, and immediately just looked out at Doc, and I was like, "Hey Doc, I need some help. Get over here and help me out." And like milliseconds, Doc and my staff sergeant were both. Staff sergeant was at my back, and Doc was grabbing down by my legs. I was like, "Hey, I don't know if those things are attached." They got me to the hospital in Bethesda, Maryland within 48 hours of being blown up in Iraq.
Taking my car to the shop that day, and the driver was fixing to drop me back off, and Delissa called me.
And I said, "Michael's hurt. He's got hurt." And she kept saying, "No, no." We got there very quickly. We got there before he did. Dr. Kumar said, "He's not awake, and we don't know when he's going to wake up. So I need you to think about whether or not you want to amputate his legs or go for limb salvage." You can't possibly make that decision. How can you make that decision for somebody else? How could you? What if you make the wrong decision? What if you didn't do what they wanted?
I can still remember when I drove up to the hospital and I seen a guy without any legs. I said, I can live without legs, but I don't want to live without my son.
Initially, when I woke up, everybody was orange. I was wounded May 7th of '06, and I was in Bethesda within 48 hours in the ICU. And when I went up to the ward, like 2 weeks later, it was another 2 weeks before I was able to see my daughter.
He looked like he was glowing. He wanted to touch her so bad. He had tears in his eyes. He just sort of reached his arms out like he was gonna touch her.
He was missing about half of his knee joint, the inside half of the bottom part of the femur, as well as he did not have any of the muscle, tendon, or the kneecap, anything that was necessary to allow him to extend his knee.
We were very concerned looking at his legs, that both of these legs fall into the category of what we consider limb salvage, ones that we would consider amputation being a viable option.
So when Doc Anderson came to me, and I'm laying in the bed like this, he's like, we have we have two options. We can amputate both your legs above the knee, or we can do limb salvage. And I had no doubts when he told me this. I can put your legs back together. I can save your legs.
I think one of the things that made him the best candidate was his mental state. For him to not be in a wheelchair at that point or hobbling around on crutches or a walker, I think was remarkable, and it sort of gave us the feeling that this may be a good guy to try this on.
Once he got to the physical therapy part, I was sure that this was possible. I was beyond that doubt that I had when we first got there.
When I got into the horseback riding program, it's really nice to be able to say that it took you 2 months to learn how to walk and 4 months to get up and ride a horse. But sitting on the horse's back is the closest thing to simulating the human gait, because the horse's muscles actually work all of your abductors and adductors, and the way you sit up on a horse causes you to work your core muscles. When you get down off the horse, that's the best stretch for your back, best stretch in the world. And you just throw your leg over his butt and you lay over the back of the horse, and just your whole back is stretched out. So never doing kayaking before, I had to learn from the beginning how to roll the boat up. When I kayaked the Grand Canyon this year with Team River Runner, it was a life-changing experience. It was just phenomenal. On day 2, I was crying. Dr. Anderson is my hero.
Sergeant Blair thinks I'm a hero, then he overestimates what I do. We come to work, we do our jobs. We think it's a big, huge privilege to take care of these real heroes, the wounded warriors that are defending our nation. Being an orthopedic trauma surgeon isn't different whether you wear a Navy uniform, an Army uniform, an Air Force uniform. You do the exact same thing.
The uniform of the patient and the uniform of the provider can't matter. We have to provide care all the way back from point of injury through the Air Force's evacuation system into these major medical centers run by the Army and the Navy here in the National Capital Region, where we have world-class capabilities. The Joint Task Force, National Capital Region, acts as an integrating force to bring those capabilities together for the benefit of the patient.
Our department is integrated. We have Navy and Air Force faculty that I work with every day, and I think that's very helpful to try to sort of pick the best from all the services, if you will, to have the best overall team.
Things have came a long ways, and I'm just grateful that, thank God every day that he's still alive and that he has had such a good recovery.
I think I've learned that I'm not a quitter, and I'm not a you know, why me or poor me kind of guy.
You know, sometimes he says that this is the best thing that ever happened to him. How absurd is that? But I don't know that it's not the truth. It didn't just change him physically, it changed him mentally, and not for the worse. People are going to tell you that they're sorry for you, and they're going to tell you, you know, all this stuff, and you look them in the face and you tell them, don't feel sorry for me. When I go home and when I go to bed at night, it's next to a hero.